What's up, everybody? It's Mekel Kasanova coming at you with another video. And before we kick this video off, I want to give a huge shout out to Koei Tecmo for providing me a review copy of Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water. I'm reviewing this on the PlayStation 5. It's also available on Xbox One, Series X, PC, as well as Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. And, you know, the Fatal Frame franchise is one that's been around for over 20 years at this point, or roughly at 20. It's literally hit 20 years at this point. And it's really a series that decided to change the survival horror genre by taking and diving very deeply into Japanese folklore and myths and legends and whatnot, and providing a unique spin on that, where instead of using guns and various firearms to survive the supernatural or the horrors that you're going to face, you're using a spiritual camera that's able to, kill off or send off ghosts. Because in Japanese culture, at least it was back when cameras were first introduced, they were thought of as things that would capture your soul. So a lot of people were very leery of it. And so in this series, the original entry came out in 2002, and it's all the way, the latest entry, actually the last time this came out was 2014, and this is a re-release because it came out in the West on the Wii U, and that was it didn't get a physical release, even though this one also doesn't get a physical release either, but it came out in 2014. It was only available on the Wii U, and a lot of people, just because of how little the Wii U had as a base install, a lot of people didn't get to play it. So Koei Tecmo has decided to re-release the game with all the additional DLCs and everything you could have got with the Wii U if you were to buy additional content, and put it on every major platform, and I think that's the best way to do it. So in this video, we're going to review Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water, tell you what I like, what I don't like, and so much more. So before we do that, make sure you sub to the channel, ding the notification bell, that way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. Like the video as well, and share it with someone you think would enjoy it. And also make sure you follow me on social media. I'm here on all of these right here. So Twitter, social media, just all of it. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all of these platforms. Also, if you want to support what we do, we have merch on Teespring and TeePublic. If you want to get the Mono Unlimited shirt like I'm wearing now, or if you want to get more, then head on over there. Also, if you want to support further, we do have channel memberships as well as Patreon, and also Coffee and Subscribe Star. So those are available down below as well. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this review of Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water. The story kicks off with Yui working at an antique shop for one of her friends named Hisoka, until one day Fuyuhi arrives and requests that Hisoka finds her friend Haruka that has gone missing around Mount Hikami. With Hisoka being absent, Yuri takes it upon herself to go to the Mount Hikami and investigate and find Haruka. Little does she know what fate and the spirits have in store for her. Gameplay. The Fatal Frame series has always been a creative take on the survival horror genre. By being based in Japanese folklore and urban legends, and instead of using the traditional firearms, you utilize what's called a spiritually powered camera called the camera obscura, and special films that you'll pick up along the way which allow you to take on the lingering spirits of the departed. Utilizing a behind-the-back instead of fixed camera perspective, you take control of one of three playable characters, 4 if you include Dead or Alive as Ayane, and take up your camera obscura and solve the mysteries surrounding the mountainous areas of Hakamiyama. Moving about the environments can feel smooth one minute and clunky the next, with you needing to investigate and navigate tight corridors and either fight off or avoid ghosts that appear randomly, as well as scripted locations, while searching various rooms looking for keys, health restoratives, and film as you advance along each chapter. Given that the game is centered around the concept of water, there is a wetness meter that will fill up that will give the player a buff of having stronger spirit power for shots with the camera obscura, with the trade-off being that your defenses are lowered and will have more ghosts spawning. You can avert the wetness status by utilizing an item called a purifying flame to remove that status, so do keep that in mind. When utilizing the camera obscura, your perspective shifts to first-person view with you having motion controls. If you're playing this on the PlayStation 4, PS5, or Nintendo Switch, then you'll have motion controls on by default with the option for traditional controls, whereas if you play this on the PC or either of the Xbox versions, then you're only able to use traditional controls, with you moving around the left stick while using the right stick to aim, and left triggers being able to aim down sights and right trigger to shoot from your camera. When it comes to the camera, you can aim up your camera reticle to shoot the ghosts before they teleport around the room, or you can line up the camera sights and build up Rayhan by taking shots of the ghosts and the fragments that appear around them so that you can do fatal frames to do some critical damage. You can also wait for enemies to try and attack you so that you can get a critical hit in, or you can press, depending on your controller, either X, A, or B to evade an incoming attack. The camera is upgradable during chapters at the pause screen, where you can have a variety of lenses and films that do a wide range of damage and more. You can utilize points you accumulate to gain different buffs and bonuses to your camera, such as faster reloads, and you can utilize those same points at the beginning of each chapter to get various outfits and accessories for your characters. Graphics. This originally came out on the Nintendo Wii U back in 2015, and while it does still hold up fine and has received some visual upgrades to the character models and the environments, you honestly can't unsee the fact that this is essentially a port of a Wii U game. The character models all look fine, and they fit perfectly into the unsettling locations you find yourself in, and even close-ups look pretty decent at times. Yet, there are moments when you trigger a cutscene or a event, and then the high-resolution models downscale back to the original Wii U's graphics. It can be quite jarring, especially when you get acclimated to certain areas, like the forest area with the shrine in Chapter 2, where it looks drop dead gorgeous one moment with the spooky mist and fog, and then it reverts to old graphics. On the PlayStation 5 and PS4 Pro, the game runs smooth at 60 frames per second at 1080p with no dips in performance. So, there's that. Audio. The atmospheric music and sounds really hit strongly in this game and are so well done that it will creep you out and unsettle you well before you see anything. The sound you hear those ghosts makes is incredibly unnerving, and it will make the hairs on your body stand on end. The ambient sounds when you're walking about areas can also get to you, as sometimes it can go from babbling brooks and noisy wind to dead silence, and then the creepy noise of the ghosts, and then the music starts kicking in. The voice acting is rock solid, and everyone does a great job with their performances to make the characters sound believable. Downsides. The motion controls can be initially off-putting, and the movement can feel sluggish, especially when you're trying to get away from ghosts. I often find myself fighting with the controls as I bring up the camera obscura and then immediately struggle between using the motion controls, L1 and R1 along with L2 and R2, and the left and right sticks. This would happen every time a ghost would pop up and I'd panic. After some time though, you'll get used to the motion controls and they'll start feeling very responsive. And yet the sticks and button combos just never feel as fluid as motion controls. The graphics going from upscaled and enhanced look, for current generation to Wii U graphics, they can be very, very jarring. I understand that would require them to rework all the cutscenes and events, but still, it is annoying to have to see the graphics changing so frequently. Many have complained about the amount of backtracking that you must do, yet for me it's not an issue. What is an issue is having to hold down R2 to pick up items because the character moves incredibly slowly in their attempt to reach out, and it is pretty ridiculous and takes too long. I get it's done for the dramatic effect, but that wears out incredibly quickly. So, the biggest complaint I have is the slowness with opening doors that the characters have, as it really feels unnecessarily slow and should have been either reworked or sped up. The wrap-up. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater is a ton of fun with a very engaging narrative that treads into some very bleak territory with the topic and depictions of suicide as well as the supernatural. It's only hindered by some questionable gameplay decisions and inconsistent graphical fidelity. But honestly, if you're looking for some good scares, a great story with twists, and finally available on all major platforms, then that makes Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater the game that you should pick up today. The verdict? Buy it. And that wraps up this video review for Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater. Again, shout out to Koei Tecmo for sending over a review copy of this game for the PlayStation 5. I really enjoyed this game, even though it does have some quirks here and there, especially with the, like I said, with the graphics, that's really jarring when it just goes from looking really up resolution and, really well done to Wii U graphics. Not saying Wii U graphics are terrible, but they're very noticeable when you jump back and forth between the two. And then having to hold down R2 to open the doors is really annoying. But, outside of that, I found myself really enjoying this game. And I think it's something that a lot of people should pick up on. And I really feel that the overall, the franchise as it is just really underrated, and I think more people should dive in. And I think this is a great point to dive into the Fatal Frame franchise. It's not anywhere near as hard as the first two games, but not as easy as the fourth either. So, take that with a grain of salt. So what do you guys think? Are you a Fatal Frame fan? Are you preferring the name of Project Zero as it's called in Japan? Have you played all of the games in the series? What's your favorite title in the Fatal Frame franchise? Whatever your thoughts are, let's go ahead and get the conversation going in the comment section below. And if you want to take the conversation further, we do have Discord as well as Guilded with links for both in the description below. Outside of that, if you want to support what we do have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, so if you want to pick up this Mana Unlimited shirt along with many others, they're available over there. And if you want to support what we do, we got channel memberships, we got Patreon. Every little bit goes a long way. I am an independent content creator, and every video you see, every podcast, literally everything that's going on is also done by me. So all that being said, I want to thank you guys. I want to especially thank my patrons and my channel supporters for everything that they do. So that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Deuces well, too sweet, be the elite. Have a very happy Halloween, a safe Halloween. Put your mask on, go get vaccinated if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video, and if you found anything of importance or substance that you gained from watching this, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you sub to the channel and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the content that you get from my channel, from podcasts, streams, reviews, impressions, reactions, and so much more. If you want to support what we do have channel memberships, we've got Patreon, we've got Subscribe Star, as well as coffee, which I would love to be drinking some coffee right now, which I am. That's some good coffee. But anyway, we got all of that, and we also have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, so make sure you go check that out. And all that being said, I just hope to see you in the next video that I put out. So hey, see you around.